Hey, hello there, everybody. It is Jamie, and it is day 5 of our Creative Business Owner Basics series. So we're coming to the very end here. It's getting a little building up some excitement because people are wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. So I see some people wondering. So I did have some technical difficulties, and I had to reboot everything. I had to restart everything. And I'm actually going to close this screen over here. I had to restart everything. It felt like it was lagging a little bit. Oh, good. I see Sandy showing up. There's Jet showing up. So yes, I was a little bit late. There, Loretta found me because I was having some technical issues. So tell me right now if you see a little bit of a lag. Do you see a little bit of a lag on the video? I notice it, but I don't know if that shows up for you. I've closed down all of my windows and everything, so I just have this streaming. But I was having some internet issues with things not connecting. I thought I was going to have to actually go live on my phone rather than on my laptop here. So let me know in the comments there. Oh, good. Jet says no lag. Perfect. Thank you. I will try to not notice it on my side that there's a little bit. It's kind of like my voice is not matching up with my lips moving. So I will try to not notice that. So Sandy does say she sees a little bit of a lag. So I'll try not to notice it. Anyway, day 5. I'm going to give you a little bit of warning before I tell you the 4 people who are winning this book, 100 Days to Brave by Annie F. Downs. It is one of my most favorite daily devotional books. It is 100 days. And I said yesterday, if you complete the challenge, that I would pick 4 people for day 4. But before I tell you that and who those 4 people are, I want to tell you that today is about thoughts. And I asked you on day 3 if I could be honest with you, if I could challenge you a little bit, and if I could call you out on your BS. If you're here for day 3, you know that BS does not stand for what you think it stands for. You can put in the comments if you know what the BS stands for. But today, talking about thoughts, I'm gonna say some things that are gonna challenge you. I could talk about thoughts and mindset and that's still on there, and mindset and all of that for a long period of time. But I'm going to try to keep this to about 30 minutes today because it is beautiful here in Ohio. It is about 75 degrees and sunny on the 5th of March, which we never get. So I'm not going to stay on too long because I'm going to go enjoy the outside. And I hope you get to enjoy your day too. But tell me if it's okay in the comments there if I call out some things that you may actually believe that are not helping you. They're not helping you at all. And they were not helping me when I thought these very same things. So if I have your permission today, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that may challenge your BS. And so I can't tell. I think the comments are lagging a little bit. But if you know what the BS stands for, not what you think that it does, you can type it in the comments there. But let me go ahead and tell you first the 4 people who participated in the challenge yesterday, and it was to post on your personal profile. And oddly enough, I didn't have as much participation as I did in the safe little chat, right? Nothing comes from staying in your comfort zone. I don't know if I've said that before, but you do not grow, you do not change if you just stay in your safe little comfort zone, which I think is that safe little chat. But if you registered for this event, you got it into a chat group, and that chat group has been very chatty. They've connected, and I think they feel safe there. Because I didn't have as many people participate in the challenge yesterday. But I did. Oh, Adrian says she just found me. I was a little bit late, so yeah, Judith remembers there. It's belief system. Yes, BS is belief system. I'm going to challenge your belief system today. So Laurel, I think that I found yours and you must have added the tag afterwards, because I did see yours afterwards. So, oh, you just said she almost chickened out, but she actually put it on her business page, I believe, too. So I had to look for that one, Judith. Christina says, I need to be challenged. Good. Because I'm going to challenge some things today that you might already think. So today, I'm going to tell you the 4 people, and I'm going to tell you some things about thoughts, and I'm probably going to tell you some things that you might want to write down. So if you want to take this second while I'm saying the names to get something to write down, some paper, I'm going to tell you some things to write down. If you didn't watch yesterday, you can put in the comments the acronym that I told you yesterday to write down. And if you didn't watch, you can go back and find that out. So here are the 4 people who are winning the 100 Days to Brave. So, very first person, this was just random that I chose, but she was the first person to comment, and that is Jamie Tucker. So, Jamie Tucker, I think I have your address, but I will make sure. I need your address. So, you can congratulate Jamie. She's the first winner of the 100 Days to Brave. The second winner is Adrian Arce. So, Adrian, you're going to get a copy of the 100 Days to Brave. And I'm going to send that through Amazon, so you should get it fairly quickly. So, Adrian, I believe I have your address, but I'll make sure and send it to me just to make sure. And that'll give me a reminder too. And then I have Lisa Allen. I don't know if she's on here yet. I hadn't seen her name. She's got some things going on in her personal life, so I'm not sure if she was able to get on live. But Lisa Allen, you're going to be getting a copy of the 100 Days to Brave. And the last person is Tamara Gadberry. So you can congratulate Jamie and Adrian and Lisa and Tamara. So Jamie, Adrian, Lisa, and Tamara. So congratulations to them. So, oh, good. Jamie says she's been wanting that book for a while. So there you go. So I am going to ask you to do a challenge today. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, because maybe this will keep you on till the end. And if you know of anybody else that might need a little challenge about thoughts, you can invite them in the comments there, and they can show up to watch. And this is what I'm going to give away today, because we're on day 5. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. I was trying to think about what would be the best thing for thoughts. What do I have? What could I give? What could I incentivize you with? And here's what I'm going to give away today. If you participate in the challenge, which is going to be putting your takeaway in here and what you get from the video, and doing the challenge, which I will tell you what that is later, I'm going to give away 5 calls with me. They will be Zoom calls. They will be 15 minutes. And they will be very strategic about one thought that you have that is a limiting belief. And we will talk through in that 15 minutes how to flip that around. So basically, you're going to get 15 minutes of coaching with me if you are one of the 5 people. So you're going to get one-on-one with me. It will be a Zoom. It'll be recorded so that you can come back to it and you can go through. So one-on-one with me, that you will be able to work through that one limiting belief that you feel like is holding you back. And maybe as you listen today, you might get some things and maybe some ideas about what that limiting belief is. So very good. Oh, Christy says good. Awesome prize. I was trying to think, so I'm glad that you feel like that's an awesome prize. So let me go ahead and get started. Here's where you might want to start taking some notes, because I'm telling you what, some of the things that I'm going to tell you today are 20 years worth of my knowledge. And so I'm going to share them with you in the next 20 minutes here. There are about 20 years of how I've been able to basically redesign my brain, like rewire the thoughts that I had up to that point for 34 years. So it's taken me now about 20 years. I think that's pretty good, right? If I build up 34 years, it's only taken me 20 years to kind of work through a lot of them. That's pretty good, right? So I have a question for you. Do you think that you are a perfectionist? Just type in the comments there, yes or no. No judgment. Because if you would have asked me that, even probably a year or so ago, I think that would have said no. Well, maybe before I started my business, but I keep being reminded. I keep being reminded. I would have said, no, I'm not a perfectionist. Like, I can't even fathom the thought of being a perfectionist because I'm not a perfectionist. But let me tell you, perfectionism, the idea of being perfect, is killing your dreams. Killing. It is killing your dreams. And let me tell you, it's also killing your creativity. Perfectionism is killing your dreams and it's killing your creativity. So let me give you an example of this. And I have not researched this, but I know enough creative people that I believe this to be true. And I taught hundreds and hundreds of students, and I believe this to be true. So let me ask you a question. Before, like when you were young, did you believe that you were creative? Did you believe that you were creative? Do you believe that you could create anything that you wanted to? Were you creative enough to the point where you dressed up as a fairy princess and believed and said that you were a fairy princess, or, whatever it might be? Did you believe that you were creative? Hopefully, everybody says yes. I believed that I was creative. And then something happened. I believe that it's around 9 years old. Anywhere from maybe like 9 to 12, somewhere around in there. So from age 9 to 12, we're all, I believe, naturally creative. We're making up stories. We're creating stories. Some people had as kids, kids are just like naturally creative in how they play and what they dream up and all of that. Somewhere around age 9 to 12, something happens. Something happens and you are in an art class and you have a teacher that says, oh, no, you have to stay in the lines. You went outside the lines. That is not perfect. No. And you get in your head that you failed because it wasn't perfect. It's a normal thing. We are actually wired to want to do well, to want to do things perfectly because there's a reward. So the reward for being perfect is to have something, to have something happen that you get rewarded for that. So perfectionism is killing your dreams because it's keeping you from failing. Does that sound like a little bit too simple there? It's keeping you from failing. So I want to tell you a story. Almost 2 years ago, it's the beginning of March. So this happened towards the end of April of 2020. And so if you've been watching the past couple of days, you kind of know a little bit of my story. I started my business in January of 2020. The world shut down in March of 2020. I had these 10 in-person paint parties, which I thought was my business model, had to cancel all of them, and I had to pivot. Like the whole world had to pivot then. Tell me if anybody's a Friends fan. Like, do you love Friends? Because every time I hear the word pivot, I picture Ross on the staircase with the couch, and I hear Ross's voice in my head. I just watched the episode a couple of weeks ago, so you can tell me if you're a Friends fan. So during that time period of April, I was doing these videos. I was starting to get people to show up to my videos, and towards the end of April, there was a free series basically like this one, and it will be coming up again in April. Keep watching. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But I was watching this free series and I was in this group and I saw my painting coach make a post. And it caught my eye because of the picture that she put. It was in black and white. Tell me in the comments if you love black and white pictures, because something about black and white like catches my eye and it's very dramatic, right? And she shared her story. And she shared her story about how she started her business and she was making, all of these things and things weren't working and she was trying all of these different things. And then she kind of had like a breakthrough and then things started working and she started her membership. And so she shared like this whole long story. And at the end of her story, and I've said this multiple times, you can write this down somewhere. And I think I saw Loretta put a little comment there. She put, dream big. Tell me yes if you're a big dreamer. I would say that most creative people dream big. And then after that, she said to fail fast. And I thought about that. And I thought, well, why would she put that? Why would this person who is very successful, why would she put to fail fast? Because failing is not an option when you're an entrepreneur. Failing is not an option. But the thing is, that doesn't mean that you are a failure because you didn't do something perfectly. Like, perfection is not the way to get to success. Like, being perfect is not how you get to being successful. That's not the equation that you use. I'm going to put my notes over here because I have like another 10 minutes or so that I want to tell you like all of these different things. But here's the equation that actually leads to success. Yes, there's achievement. You want to achieve something. But do you know what's missing? Like, tell me if this has ever happened to you, that when you set some goals and you actually meet those goals, tell me how you feel. Like, tell me how you feel when you meet those goals. It feels pretty good, right? You feel happy. You feel like I achieved something, like I met a goal. But how long does that really last? How long does that feeling that you succeeded at something, that you achieved something, how long does that really last? Probably not very long. Like, you've probably heard of dopamine, right? It's kind of like this little hit of dopamine. Oh, I'm happy. I achieved something. I met a goal. I hit a number. I, have so many people that signed up to come to my paint party, to my virtual event, whatever it is. It feels pretty good in the moment, kind of like really quick. Does it usually last? Probably, if you don't have the other part of the equation, it doesn't. So it's achievement plus fulfillment. And what's another word for fulfillment? It's gratitude. Gratitude is the missing part of the equation for success. And that failing fast means that you've got to be grateful for all of the parts. You've got to be grateful. So I told you at the beginning of the video that I had some technical difficulties. And I'm trying to click into StreamYard. I'm trying to open up to get a text message sent out. I'm trying to do all of and I was getting a little frustrated, a little bit. And then I remembered, oh, probably all of these things that are happening and I can't get in and I keep trying and I tried it and I'm trying to just push through it and keep trying and trying and it wasn't working. Then I have to reset. I have to reboot. I have to restart my computer. I haven't done that in a long time, right? So I remembered, if you were here for day 2, which was about rest, you know that rest actually helps your creativity. It helps your energy level. So I had to reboot my computer. and that rebooting, that resetting, all of that helped. And so then I was able to get into StreamYard, and I was like a minute or two late because of that. So I'm not even remembering where I went with that. But being perfect, I was failing, but I didn't look at it as a failure. I just had to like slow down for a second and then, just kind of like restart. So I was able to get on. So I want to share a quote for you, and you can write this down here too. So Eudis says here, let me pull this up here. So she says, that's why we have to enjoy the process. I'm all about process, all about the process. So yes. So here is a quote. I think I shared a quote yesterday from Tony Robbins. He has all kinds of, he's just like an amazing public speaker. So his quotes and the work that he's done about like reprogramming thoughts and things like that is just so powerful. So I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to read you my notes here. He said that perfection is the lowest standard you can set for yourself because it guarantees pain. You're going to get pain if you're always trying to be perfect because you're going to be stuck. You won't have the courage to move forward. You will be stuck. You won't have the courage to be able to start anything. You're going to feel stuck. Because I'm going to have you do a little exercise, because here's what perfection is. Let me look at my notes here to make sure that I read this. Here's what perfection is. And this is something here. Let me just tell you what it is, and then I'm going to say. So perfection is actually just the fear that you're not enough, that you're not worthy. Because you've learned that in order to feel worth, in order to feel like you're enough, you have to be perfect. And that's not true. That is not true at all. I want you to do this little exercise. If you're watching live, you can do this right now. If you're watching on replay, you can do this. You can do this any time you need to. We did this on Tuesday, I think it was, but I want you to go ahead and put your hands on your heart. And if it is too distracting for you to see things, go ahead and close your eyes. I'm a visual person. I get distracted by visual things. So you can close your eyes. And I just want you to say to yourself that you are enough. You can even use your name and say, Jamie, I am enough. However you want to, you are enough. You know why I know that? You know why I know that you're enough? I'm enough? Because you're watching today, because you're breathing today, because you were born. You are enough because you're here. Not because of the things that you do, not because of the accomplishments that you have, the people that you get to show up to a paint party, the followers on your page. All of that does not equal whether you are enough. So being perfect is not the strategy that you need to be successful. Achievement plus fulfillment, which I'm going to call gratitude, that's what equals success. That's when you have that feeling that lasts. That's when you have that feeling that you're craving, which is that you're enough. That's when you are grateful for the process, for the entire process, and not just the goal. Right? So Tamara says, I struggle. Tamara, I understand. I struggled with that for at least 34 years. And at 34 years, that was when I started being introduced. Let me share this with you. And if you are a mom, you will definitely understand this. If you have anybody in your life that you love, you will understand this. But I didn't understand it at first. I asked about coincidences the other day, and I wasn't even planning on sharing this story, but let me share this story. So in 2002, I talked the other day about that I was in a situation in my life where circumstances from the outside, everybody would have thought you would be perfectly justified in in just being curled up on the couch, like curled up in your bed. Like I had all kinds of things going on in my life that were very heavy. And in 2002, I was introduced to the concept of being on an airplane. Right, you're on an airplane, and they go through that safety little spiel, right? And they say, and I had flown before then, so it wasn't like I hadn't heard this, but I was listening in a different way. I was listening with ears to hear why I needed to hear this. So I had, I think it was within 1 week, I had 3 different people point out this story to me. And they said, when you're on the plane and they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first, you have to put on your oxygen mask first before you would put it on your kids, before you would put it on your spouse, before you would put it on whoever's sitting next to you that you love. I was a young mom. Well, my kids were young at the time. I wasn't necessarily a young mom. I had my kids a little bit older. And I thought, no, I would put the mask on my kids first. I love them. I would help them first before I took care of myself. That's kind of messed up too, because how are you going to be able to take care of them if you don't take care of yourself first, right? So I heard that 3 different times in 1 week. And usually if I hear something by the 3rd time, I start to like perk up and listen a little bit. So by the 3rd time, I realized, oh, I haven't been taking care of myself. So how would I expect to be able to take care of other people? Right? So I realized that, and it was about then that I learned how to be grateful for everything in my life. It was when I started to realize about not keeping secrets. It was about when I realized about taking care of myself in all the different ways. It was about me letting go of being perfect, because I would not have called myself a perfectionist, but I was avoiding failing. I was avoiding doing anything, trying anything that would result in possible failure. Well, that's being a perfectionist. I was avoiding those things. So the other thing is, and anytime you achieve something, it never feels like enough. I mean, I struggled with that for a long time, of not being enough, not feeling like I was worthy. So you've probably been showing up here for the past 5 days wondering, what in the world does this have to do with my creative business? And before I tell you the challenge today, I'm doing pretty well. I'm like at 31 minutes, 30 minutes. Before I tell you the challenge today, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought there again. Sometimes doing live videos is really hard. I get like sidetracked. I'll think of like one thing that is kind of off. But I'm gonna see if I can try to get back on track. Let me think of what I was thinking about there. I don't know. Let me tell you what the challenge is. I don't remember. I'm getting very distracted by the sunshine. I want to be outside, but I committed to being here, and I want to. Oh, so you're probably wondering what this has to do with your creative business, right? So here's what I have realized the past couple of years since I started my business. A lot of people would ask me different questions about, how are you building your following? How are you getting new subscribers? How are you doing all the things that you're doing? How do you do the tech? How do you all of these different things? And I realized there that was the surface things that they were asking, but and I'm going to share a little bit more of this tomorrow, but I realized that what they were really asking and what I knew that they needed to know was underneath that. It was that BS, that belief system. And there was something very specific that I did when I started my business that I believe was the key to how I show up, how I it was my belief system at the time. So I'm going to share about an evening routine tomorrow. And I am going to tell you about the Create course that is what I'm going to be offering tomorrow, and how all of this ties together, and why I haven't been creating the past few days, and why I've been sharing these concepts that don't seem like they relate to your creative business. I saw somebody said, you just sees the connection. So I'm gonna pull it like all together. So show up tomorrow and it'll all like make a lot more sense. I'm gonna tell you about the Create course, where a lot of what I've been telling you is all gonna come together inside that course. And you're gonna get more time with me. It's gonna be I'll tell you more about it tomorrow, but it's gonna be a course. It's gonna be a start and a finish, and you're gonna get that time with me during that time period. So I want you to go ahead and put in the comments your takeaway for today. So, and I want you to go ahead and type, because that will help you to see it. It'll help you to remember it. But I'll tell you, typing it in here so that you can see it is good. And that way other people can kind of see your takeaways. But sometime today, I also want you to write down your takeaway. And if you haven't been doing that over the past couple of days, if there have been takeaways, I want you to write those things down. And then here's your challenge to go along with that. So I was trying to think of a challenge that would be worthy of that would challenge you a little bit, and would give me some insight. Because if you're one of those 5 people that are going to get a 15-minute call with me, that'll be on Zoom, that'll be recorded, where you're going to share your limiting belief, your BS, your belief system, just one part of it, and we'll work through in that 15 minutes how to flip that around, how to kind of work through that a little bit. I was trying to think of a challenge that would give me insight into that a little bit. So here is your challenge. And remember, if you're going to do this challenge, this is going to be out on your personal profile, on your Facebook personal profile. I want you to use the hashtag CBOB5 for day 5. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to tell just a part of your story. A part of your story about maybe something where you were trying to be perfect. Maybe a part of your story where you did figure out something. You had a goal, you achieved it, but there was that fulfillment with it that you knew is what made it feel like you were successful. It was the achievement plus the fulfillment is what made you feel real success. So I just want you to tell part of your story. You can tell it in whatever way you want. It can be a picture with a story along with it. I want you to use the hashtag the CBOB5. And this one's going to be tough, because it's going to be asking you to be a little bit vulnerable. And it doesn't have to be some, some secret, something that you haven't, like, I'm not asking you to do that, but it's going to be vulnerable because you're going to show up and say, I'm not perfect. I mean, that's really what you're saying there. So I will be taking this challenge too. So I'm going to be posting on my personal profile after I enjoy the sun. And I'm going to be sharing some stories about some things that I've worked through, something about being a perfectionist, some kind of story that you share, just a piece of your story. So you can tell me in the comments there if you are planning on taking that. So Christy says, can you restate or explain a little bit more? So I'm just asking you to tell a little bit of your story. Just anything that you would, it can even be something that you have taken away from these past 5 days that you have learned, where before Tuesday you thought this way and now you think this way, and you realize that that kind of thinking that you had, that limiting belief, whatever, it wasn't the truth. It's not serving you. It's not helping you in any way at all. And now you've learned a different way. You've had an aha. It can be based on your, so basically I'm just asking you on your personal profile to tell some part of maybe this week, relate it to a story, relate it to something that you've learned, to a takeaway. And I want you to use the hashtag because that's the only way that I can find it. So I was able to go out and search the 9 people yesterday who shared out on their personal profile. And I'm going to be looking for 5 people that do that use the hashtag. And I'll get on a 15-minute call with you and we'll work through that limiting belief. It'll be on a Zoom and we'll be able to chat. And so that's a like an over hour and 15-minute time commitment that I'm making with 5 different people to be able to work through some of those things. So it'll be limited to 15 minutes, and that will be the what I give away tomorrow. So I am going to do a video tomorrow. I do not very often do a video on Sundays, but it'll be at 3 o'clock. And I will be keeping it to about 30 to 35 minutes tomorrow. I will tell you more about the course that I'm going to be opening up for enrollment tomorrow. And if you have gotten anything from these past 5 days, and then I'm going to be adding more tomorrow, the course is going to be even more of that, even more of what I've learned, in addition to all the other things I'm going to tell you about tomorrow. So that will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And before I go ahead and get off and enjoy the sunshine, then I want to leave you with this, that I want you to remember that you can decide to create the life you love, because you can if you believe it, which goes along with our belief system, right? So I will leave you with that. I hope you go enjoy the afternoon. And I hope, I love, Jamie's like on it. She was telling me this is like one of the only challenges that she's participated in and done everything with. And so maybe it will help someone else. I love that, Jamie. Yes. By sharing our stories with other people, it does help. So I will go ahead and leave you with that. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I have been putting all of the videos inside the event here on my page if you want a quick run through of all of the videos. So I'll do that and add that in there too. And Mandy, I will type that quote in here and probably up there. It's up there too, but it's perfectionism. Perfection is the lowest standard you can set for yourself because it guarantees pain. I think that's the one that you were asking about. So very good. Hope you guys all have a great afternoon, a great evening, and I will see you back tomorrow for the last day, day 6.